What is going on, guys? It's Chris back with Houseplant Therapy, where we consider houseplants to be a therapeutic part of life. We absolutely love them here. In today's video, it's a care guide on the jade plant. How to take proper care of the jade plant for indoor growing. The jade plant is part of the succulent family. Super popular plant. People kind of trim them up to look like bonsai sometimes, so that's also a cool thing. Let's get into it. I'm gonna make this super simple, guys. This is gonna be like the bro science of care guides, because as you know, I keep things super simple. This is gonna be like just the bare basics. Let's do this. So we've been super busy the last couple days, and what we're doing is we're treating all the house plants before winter, just because sometimes you get some pests in them and it's just been a lot. But here is the jade plant. I removed the jade plant from the rack here. The jade plant is a super awesome plant. I absolutely love this. For starters, the jade plant is part of the succulent family. So what does this mean? The first step is to realize how much sunlight these things need. So in your household, find a south-facing window if possible. These guys are considered high indirect lighting, like a lot of succulents, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. A lot of people have succulents die in them because they're not giving them enough lighting. If you see your succulents like start to reach up and they look super leggy, where the leaves, or you have growth where there's no leaves, chances are you're gonna have to get a grow light or put it somewhere where it's brighter. The second step is going to be mastering how to water this plant. These guys are from, like, a lot of the succulents are from Africa originally, and they are what is called drought. They are used to droughts, and what this means is what you want to do is master the watering schedule to replicate drought seasons. That means a thorough watering and then completely let it dry out. A lot of beginners water these plants like a little bit every couple days, and the plants absolutely hate that. So let's elaborate on that a little bit more, because watering succulents is a huge deal. Let's move the cam here a little bit. So when you water these guys, what you want to do is thoroughly soak them, like more than what you'd think. Don't be afraid to overwater them. But then completely let the jade plant dry out for like 2 weeks. And you'll start to learn the jade plant will tell you when it needs to be watered. A lot of times, if you can see like the outside of the pot kind of being loose, you see that gap in there, like literally I can just pull this plant out because it's so dry. It needs to be watered very badly. But here's the thing. Underwatered jade plants or succulents in general is better than overwatering, because if you overwater these plants, it's going to be terrible. They're super susceptible to root rot. Honestly though, that's 90% of how to take care of a jade plant. Make sure that they get enough lighting and master their watering schedule. Also, when figuring out how to water it, put your finger in there and maybe like feel like an inch deep, maybe 2, and figure out if it needs to be watered. If that is completely dry, chances are it needs to be watered. The leaves will also tell you if they're kind of wrinkled and you can bend them. Usually they're more like frumpy and just like full of water. This plant needs to be watered so bad. And it's gone 4 weeks and this plant is still fine. If that gives you any idea how little you have to water this plant. So what else makes the jade plant pretty cool is that it almost turns into like a bonsai tree. That's why it's pretty popular, is because if you let it grow, it kind of grows like this trunk-like stem, and it's super fleshy, and what you can kind of do is just trim back the leaves and it will kind of grow like a bonsai tree. It's super popular. People absolutely love it. But yeah, guys, these are succulents and they grow pretty slow. They need tons of lighting. As far as soil goes, you're gonna want a soil mix that has tons of drainage to it, you know, like a ton of perlite. You want wood in there. As far as pot size goes, succulents like really small pots, and you rarely have to repot them, maybe like once every 3 years or so. And guys, what's a huge deal is not overwatering this plant. Like literally getting enough lighting to this plant and not overwatering it is huge, because succulents hate being overwatered. What happens is when you overwater it, a lot of times, maybe if the soil mix is wrong and it can't drain properly, the water just sits down here, and that's where most of the roots are. And what happens is they rot out. Succulents are super susceptible to having root rot happen. That's essentially where the roots just rot out, and without the roots, the plant is nothing. So what you want to do is make sure you have a nice draining mix. If you just bought your plant, just leave it in the nursery pot for some time. Make sure it gets used to its environment. Then think about changing the soil mix. It's so huge though not to overwater this plant, guys. Just not too frequently is what I should say. Also, what helps with the watering issue and the roots rotting is to use a terracotta stone pot. A lot of these nursery pots are just kind of plastic, and what happens is the terracotta absorbs a lot of that leftover hydration that you've watered the plant with because it's a stone. Hopefully this video helped you guys figure out how to take care of the jade plant for indoor growing. Super easy plant. I'm telling you guys, 90% of it is just making sure it gets adequate amounts of light, and do not overwater it. Literally, you could probably neglect this plant and water it once a month, give it enough lighting, and it's gonna thrive. Because you have to remember, it's close to like desert parameters for this thing. So like you can't be like a over complicated Nancy and be like, is it need water? Like that's not this plant and succulents in general. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. If you have issues with any of your jade plants or whatever. I have a video series talking about all the issues that could happen with jade plants as well when the leaves start falling, just all kinds of stuff. So please subscribe to the video and like it, give it a thumbs up, hit up the comment section. I love meeting you guys. I love meeting people that also love plants. So and that's why we do videos. So I love you guys. Without further ado,